name is Brit, and today I'm going to speak about the Galooli Analyst, a new and exciting feature that we recently added to the Galooli solution. First of all, just to get an orientation, you can find the Galooli Analyst below the Panorama application in the Analytics tab, below the AI-based analysis section. And when you click it, you will get the dashboard with all the insights inside of it, located in the same place. Okay? Just in one sentence before I'm showing some example, what the Galooli Analyst is actually doing. It is basically analyzing millions of data points, all the data points collected from the sites daily, and provides insights in just text without the need to analyze complex graph or doing some calculations, looking at the numbers. It is just providing the bottom line of what actually happened on the sites, which issue occurred, for how many times it is going on, and what are the possible reasons and recommendations you should actually how you should actually act now. Okay, let's execute it over the Galooli demo organization. While I'm doing so, I will explain that the Galooli demo account is actually using real units of our clients. Of course, we are changing the names and the locations just in terms of the privacy of the data of our clients, but everything you see here are real issues based on real units that are located all over the world. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Again, I executed the dashboard over the Galooli demo organization over the last week. And what you can see here is that we have 64 events that are actually active now in the organization in 38 units, okay, which means that some units have more than one event active. In addition to that, we can see that we have 24 events that are active for more than a week, okay, meaning we should actually address them because they're not, started from today, but they're active for some time now. And we can see which events are currently active. Okay, so for example, we have 21 events of low fuel data quality and 7 events of solar underperformance. Okay, before we will start, I will just show you this bar over here that is actually showing that the dashboard is composed out of different dashboards. Each one of the dashboards actually showing insights about a specific aspect, okay, of the sites. We have here insights about solar, about fuel, generator, battery, and we're adding more all the time. And this is actually focusing you on the issues you are now interested in and what do you want to take care of. So let's start with the solar insight and let's see what is going on in the Galooli demo regarding the solar. So I will just explain now what are the solar insights and how we detect the solar underperformance for these sites. We are actually getting data about the weather from a third-party API, a weather API, which gives us data about the radiation and the cloud coverage in each one of the locations of the sites. Based on that, we're calculating the expected solar energy, how much energy the solar was expected to be generated based on the capacity and the installation properties of the site. Okay, if the solar panel tilt is 30 degrees or what is the orientation of the panels, of course it affects the expected solar energy. Okay, and based on the weather and the installation of the solar panels in the specific site, we determine what is the expected solar energy, and we can compare it to the actual solar energy that is measured, okay, by the rectifier, by meters, it doesn't matter. So there is a comparison between the expected and the actual solar energy. Based on that, we determine which sites have solar underperformance. Okay, let's look at one of them as an example. Let's look at Nigeria 1 that we have here. So as you can see here in Nigeria 1, Galooli Analyst is saying that solar underperformance has been detected. The solar expected production according to the installed capacity, okay, which is more than 17 kWp, and the weather condition in this specific day was more than 70 kWh, but the actual production was actually less than 20 kWh. Okay, and now the Galooli Analyst is not just telling you what are the differences, okay, what you should be expecting, but what actually happens, but also telling you what are the possible reasons for that. So for this specific site, you can see it has 5 solar modules, but the rectifier had 3 faulty solar modules in that day. Okay, we can see that we have 44 days with solar underperformance, so I guess this is happening for quite a time now. Okay, so this can actually explain why the solar production is very low compared to the expected production. And of course, the recommended action in this case is to send a maintenance vendor to the site and to correct the faulty solar modules. Okay, we have here some more details about the sites, how much hours a day we're having solar production, what is the maximum solar power. Okay, over time we can see that, of course, that if we compare it to the solar array capacity, it is very low. Okay, and of course the reason, as we can see here, is the faulty solar modules. But as you can see here, that you don't need to examine the graphs too much or understand it by yourself. The insight here in the Galooli Analyst is telling you this is the issue, those are the possible reasons, this is what you should do. Very straightforward. Let's go back and see another example. I'm going back to the Solar Insights dashboard over the Galooli demo, back to the table, and let's examine also Indonesia 2. Very interesting site. So we can see here again, we have here a site with a very large solar capacity. Okay, if we are talking about a telecom size, almost 25 kWp, and again we have here solar underperformance detected. So according to the weather and the installed capacity, as you can see also in the graph, we expected 140 kWh for this specific site, but we got less than 50 kWh. And again, we have here the possible reasons detailed. One reason is the rectifier has incorrect settings. Okay, if you will see the video that we have about the expert, you can understand how we detect those incorrect settings, and it is also recommended to check if the incorrect setting is related to the issue. Moreover, as we saw in Nigeria, this rectifier has one faulty solar modules out of 7 solar modules installed in the sites, which again may lead to improper operation, and it is recommended to send someone to the site to check and fix these issues. But we have here another interesting reason that the Galooli Analyst is pointing out, which is a non-optimized battery charge. Okay, it is now, you can see here that it's saying that the generator is overcharging the battery for 3 hours throughout the day. Okay, and by optimizing the battery charge, the mix between the solar, when the solar is charging the battery and when the generator is charging the battery, you can get a better solar production and actually reduce the generator operation and the fuel consumption. Okay. Let's look actually in a detailed report that we have in the system to see in our own eyes that the Galooli Analyst is actually right. So now I switched to the Pro application and executed a detailed power report on Indonesia 2. Okay, what you can see here in the graph is in red you can see the consumer's power, okay, how much the site actually consumed, and in green you can see the solar power, okay, this is the previous week that we're seeing here. And in pink you can see when the generator was actually running on site. Okay, so in green, of course, this is when the solar was active. Throughout the day we can see that between 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. we had the solar providing power to the site. Okay, and of course at night we don't have solar power, and on night we can see that the generator is working constantly every day for 3 hours. Okay, regarding the consumption of the site, it's pretty stable. There is variations between night and day, but not something very dramatic. Okay, now let's analyze what we see here in the previous 3 days, okay, when we had, again, solar underperformance according to the Galooli Analyst. What we can see is that around morning, as we saw, around 7 a.m., we have the solar starting to produce power. And around 8:30, as you can see here, when the green line is exceeding the red line, the solar power is providing all the power to the site and also charging the batteries. Okay, this is what happens when the solar power is a lot more than the site's consumption. Okay, it is also charging the batteries in parallel. What is happening here is that around 12:30, actually when the solar should be in its maximal output, we can see that it's dropping down immediately back to the site's consumption, okay, providing only power to the site without charging the batteries. The reason for that, obviously, is the batteries are already fully charged. There is no need to charge the batteries any longer, okay, and by this we can see that this entire part of the graph, okay, the entire time between 12:30 to, let's say, 4 p.m. is a waste of solar energy because the solar is only providing power to the site and not charging the batteries. Okay, now because of that, the batteries has some capacity, okay, for this specific site. That's because of that the solar has a limit of how much it can charge it, of course, and it is working, the batteries are working here when the solar is not producing any power anymore at night, but the generator also has to operate and to provide power to the site for 3 hours a day. Now the analyst is actually saying, if we're going back to the analyst conclusion that we have over here, is the battery capacity might be insufficient with the site's load requirement. Increasing the battery capacity could help reduce the generator usage, which currently stands at 3.1 hours. Okay, so the analyst is giving you the bottom line without the need to look in this specific graph, which we can see here with our eyes, okay, by looking specifically on this specific parameters on this specific days, the solar is not being fully utilized because of the non-optimized battery charge. Okay, now, again, if I'm going back to the value that our users can get from this specific feature, is that they don't have to go to Pro, execute a report, select the correct parameters, understand what they're actually seeing. The Galooli Analyst is giving the bottom line, okay, for all the reasons of the solar underperformance for this specific site, so the client can actually take action and handle the site's configuration, settings, malfunctions, okay, that we also observed here very easily without the needing to do the analysis by himself. That's the power of the AI-based analysis that we have in the system in the Galooli Analyst. Thank you.